Hey, Tabor. I hope that by now you've had a chance to read through John 17 a few times. And tonight we're going to focus on a short phrase in verse 13 that says this. It says, Jesus wanted his joy to be made full in his disciples. Take that in for a second. The joy of Jesus was meant to reach full capacity in his followers. So he gives his joy, which is joy that comes from the Father, the joy that the Father had for the Son. That is what he's giving. And he's not just giving a portion of it, he's not just giving enough to dull the pain, the disappointment of a difficult life, but it's joy that's full to the brim. Uh, so Alicia and I have this ongoing joke where she goes to the tap to fill up her cup of full of water, and she does it all the way to the brim, so that when she's walking away, it's practically spilling over the sides. And so I laugh about her trying to get a little bit more in there, and she basically just says, "Well, I have this cup, and I want to get all I can." And I think that's a great picture of what Jesus is doing with his joy. Whatever cup you have, he's filling it up to the brim. And so if we have Jesus's joy that way, then we probably also need to understand what is it that brought Jesus joy? How was he filled with joy? And I think there's two ways to look at this. There's a present joy and a future joy. The present joy he's talking about, he describes it in chapter 15. It says this, as the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you obey my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have obeyed my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. So, what is not lacking in joy is because Jesus is abiding in the love of the Father. That is the natural and consistent kind of relationship he had with his Father and what he wants for his followers, so that when we dwell in and make our home in the love of Jesus, when we are attached to the vine, that's when the joy he has given us will be active and experienced to the degree that he intends it to. And so, in that sense, our present joy is like that branch being in the vine, remaining in Him. So, whatever winds and storms are blowing through your life, you can know that not only are you attached to the vine, but that the life giving flow through the vine is always working. The fruit is growing in good weather and in bad. And so that's the beauty of our present joy. But Jesus also describes a future joy. And this is amazing because as he's facing a cross, as he's about to carry the weight of the world's sin on his shoulders, knowing that the wrath of the Father is going to be laid on him, he steps toward the worst moment of his life in pursuit of joy. And how is that? Well, Hebrews 12:2 says this. It says, he endured the cross, looking to the joy that was coming when he would be glorified by the Father, seated at the right hand of the throne of God. And so that road to glory included a cross. I think that's helpful for us to see because, having joy, that's not found in the absence of suffering and humiliation in our lives. No, joy is found in the love and the presence of God that we abide in every single day as we face those other issues. So joy is not exclusive of the struggles and trials in our lives, where our lives are full of scars. There are always holes in our heart, but joy can still be known because of this intimacy we have with Jesus and because we can look ahead now and see what is before us. So, Tabor, what struggles are you facing right now? Uh, how do you need that joy in your life? Because as much as we're dealing with the hardship of the coronavirus, we also realize that whatever difficulties we had in our life before all of this started happening, those haven't really gone away, have they? The despair of financial hardship, the difficult family relationships, other struggles you have are probably only magnified right now. And so, whatever you're facing right now, Tabor, I hope that you will Know the present joy of abiding in the love of Jesus and faithfully following him. And I hope that you'll be able to see the future joy of standing before the throne as an accepted and glorified child of God. Isn't that a beautiful thing? That is true right now. And because of that, I can have joy to the fullest. So our frustrations, our sorrows, they'll never go in the way in this life, will they? But they also don't have to diminish our joy because of where that joy comes from. So it's good to chat with you, Tabor, and we'll see you on Sunday.